Welcome guys to our Cuttwood review. Yes, it's me, John Vapes.
And me, Jake Vapes.
On the Vape show. Thank you very much for joining us. If you haven't already, please do make sure you subscribe to our little channel as we look to take over the globing world. We jest. But seriously, if you do like what you watch, yeah, subscribe, make sure you join us. So yes, Cuttwood. For those of you that haven't heard of them, that would surprise me. I mean, Cuttwood have been around in vaping, should I say, for, well, 2014, so 4 or 5 years. Californian company. They make their flavors in the US of A.
Good old California.
Supplied to us in this lovely little black presentation box, which give us the 10 flavors from Cuttwood. Now, Cuttwood, for those that don't know, are one of these companies that make their own unique base. They're described, well, in the instructions it includes the ethyl maltol, the ethyl alcohol, the butyric acid, the water, glycerin, propylene glycol. Basically what it means is you're going to get an undertone across the Cuttwood range. Now, as I found out, that wasn't too appealing to me on an RDA, so we have switched to tanks to see whether or not we find that the flavor comes through. The flavors were there, don't get me wrong, the flavors were absolutely on point, but some of them were having more of the base come through, others not so much. And personally, I was finding the ones that didn't have that overpowering base to them and the flavor was coming through better.
You were saying that the base was too overpowering. If that was taken out, or if it had a standard base, you would have probably loved the flavors a lot more.
Definitely, but there are people out there that love the Cuttwood range for that base. So, you know, don't write them off because their base is a bit different. You've got to try these things, and it's fantastic that there is a brand that has something completely different and unique about their flavors. And they aren't just another interpretation of melon, another interpretation of tobacco, another interpretation, you know, lime. They are their own versions of. So we started with the white boxes, which are the
reimagined
range. So found that the livid lime for me was a kind of like a classic deep, slightly bitter lime flavor, with an apparent base coming through on that one. It's described as a refreshing lime, a twist as only Cuttwood could reimagine, and they have done that exactly. It is their own unique flavor, and you will not find another lime like that anywhere else around. I don't know what you thought on that one, Jake.
Yeah, no, in agreement. I think I like the lime a little bit more than yourself. I don't really know your opinions really on lime in general, but mine is I've never really found a good one that I would go back to, and this is pretty much the same again. It's not a bad one, but as you said, I think the base does come through, and it's just not quite, there for me.
I have a lime that I do go back to, but it's very sweet. It's a very sweet, juicy lime, as opposed to that kind of almost natural, I guess, bite of a lime that with a slight mix that the Cuttwood have produced. So definitely it's a unique lime to their own brand, and for me the base was just a bit too apparent, I found, on that one. We then moved on to the Outrage Orange, a sweet orange with a twist as only Cuttwood could reimagine. So again, you can imagine it was very, very similar to the lime, but only obviously orange instead. It was a good orange on top of that Cuttwood unique base. So again, for me, it was a little bit not to my cup of tea because of that base again.
I'd say the orange was a bit better than the lime one. It came through stronger, in my opinion, the actual orange rather than the base, as opposed to the livid lime. And I did like it. I've never found a good orange. I don't like orange, but I did quite like that one. So that one went a little bit higher up in my ranking. Yeah, as you said throughout the live review that we did, the base was a bit overpowering on the reimagined ones.
Yeah.
And then we went for a nice palate cleanser, didn't we, John?
We did. We hit the Manic Mint, and it was a lovely fresh mint. Again, with that edge of, again, the twisters only Cuttwood could imagine. And it is in there for me, because the mint flavour seemed to almost complement the Cuttwood base, and that made that the best of the three reimagined that we tried for me. Again, nice mint with that more subtle than the previous two undertone through from the base. Would you agree, Jake?
I was about to say, yeah, I would agree, but as you guys know, if you watch our lives or any of the recorded videos, I'm not a mint or menthol fan, so as much as we try to be subjective, I can't really. I'll never rate a mint or menthol high, just not in my flavour profiles. But it is a nice mint as mints go.
So then, we'll move on to the gold range, I believe it's called.
It was the classic we went to next.
Then I will shuffle my boxes just for you, Jake.
Yeah, well, keep the order.
So, Unicorn Milk was the first of the classic ranges flavors. Sorry, should I say that we delved into?
Yes.
The Unicorn Milk being described as a perfect blend of strawberry and unique fresh creams. Of course, again, with that unique base. Now, one thing that I will say, and we haven't touched on the flavour yet, but I am vaping the Sugar Drizzle through my tank at the moment, and it is a much more pleasurable vape than I was experiencing on the RDA, although it was very, very good on the RDA. It was coming across as incredibly sweet, but also it was coming through with that base too heavy for me. Now it's in the tank, currently using the Dead Rabbit RTA. It has brought down that sweetness a smidge, but it's also toned down that base. So
an improvement, because I was going to say as you guys know, I love the Bird Brains. That was the one that I was loving, and I've got that in the Trek 7S, little sub-ohm 2mm tank. I'm loving it. It's even better, and yeah, I think it gets rid of not too much flavour. There is a little drop in flavour, but it gets rid of a lot more of the base. So I just think these juices are just not as good for dripping. They're much better sub-ohm.
Yeah, again, comes down to preference. If you find that you absolutely love the base that Cuttwood put all their juices on top of, then you will find that actually, you may completely disagree with that. But the Unicorn Milk was, as it said, it was a real creamy, with a subtle strawberry on top. It wasn't a sweet, it wasn't a sharp strawberry. It was just that subtle.
There was a hidden vanilla in there that I couldn't quite pick up on. In the flavour description, I believe it said vanilla.
It's just described as a perfect blend of strawberry and 4 unique fresh creams.
Maybe it's written on the side. So it says vanilla on the side, which threw me because I can't taste it. But maybe that's part of their base.
We moved on to the Mega Melons next, which actually was quite bit of a curveball, I guess, because when I read the description, it says a trifecta of mango, cantaloupe, and papaya creates this delectable combination of refreshing tropical flavors. And I thought, well, why is it being called Mega Melons then? So obviously vaped it, and I'm picking up cantaloupe, I'm picking up mango, I'm picking up papaya, and it is making a nice tropical blend on top of that base. But the more I vaped it, the more the melon was coming through as the dominant flavour. But still retaining that mango, still retaining that papaya there as well. And again, I said that with that flavour, that was the one flavour for me that I would really like to try on a normal flat base. Because the flavours worked together really well and it was really nice. Just didn't... For me, it was let down by the that bittery. I find it bittery. The base.
Okay, well, for me, the Mega Melons was on point. But you did mention this on the live review, that each drag was a different sort of flavour coming through. Like initially, I was getting melon. Then the second or third pull, it was the cantaloupe. It was just sort of forever changing, but it made me rate it differently because I was like, yeah, that's a banging melon. Kept vaping. I was like, oh, well, it's not too sure if the other flavours are to my liking. And I think I dropped it by half a point, which is nothing, but it's still. It was a change I wasn't expecting and agree with, really.
Well, there you go. I quite enjoyed the fact that you were getting those multiple flavors and it wasn't just sitting as one the whole time. So last of the classic range was the Sugar Drizzle. Sugar cinnamon inhaled paired with a smooth creamy body on the exhale. As I say, that's what I've got in the tank at the moment. And yes, it is exactly that.
Too sweet for me by far. All I got on that was sugar. That's basically all I can say on it. I know John will be able to do much more in depth, but for myself, it was literally like licking the top of a cinnamon roll, and I don't like cinnamon. So for me, that's my review. I apologise. It did taste like cinnamon, but not for me.
For me, it was almost like you dipped a cinnamon bun into milk or a creamy milk, and you were licking it. You were getting that creaminess, you were getting that sweetness, you were getting the cinnamon, and I didn't think Fine was an overpowering cinnamon. It was just a really nice flavour. And then now that I've got it in the tank, it has dulled down that sweetness because it did come across as very sweet, but it has wound that sweetness down enough to make that a much more all-day vape as opposed to what it was at the time when it would have just been something you'd have dripped for a while and then moved on to something else.
Yeah.
But the recurring theme on the classics was that the bass wasn't so noticeable. It was the flavour was coming through more, the bass was less, and that was both enjoyed more by myself and yourself there, Jake. We found that actually we enjoyed the classics more than we had enjoyed the reinvented.
But the gold series, that was where the money was at for me.
Gold, yeah. We had you've got your Bird Brains, Tobacco Trail, and Mr. Fritter. We started with the Bird Brains. Bird Brains being, well, Jake, do you want to take it away? This is your baby.
If you've ever been to America, and the reason I say America is you can get them over here, they're not the same. Fruit Loops. If you go to America, order a bowl of Fruit Loops, you will eat them until you pop. I ordered a fruit bowl when I was over there. They filled it with a full box of Fruit Loops. I ate it. I was like 12. Crazy. This is an exact mirror of Fruit Loops. I love it. I've got it in here right now. I will chuff this all day. And I even have looked on Cuttwood.com. They're $19.99 a bottle for a 50ml. I will be putting an order in because I have not found a Fruit Loops that I like. And you guys know me. I love me strawberries. I love me fruits. I'm a fruity vapor. But yeah, John, what was your take?
It was exactly. I haven't myself had the American cereal. I imagine, obviously from what you were saying, it was bang on. That was the flavour that I was getting was that, the strawberry cereal. In the milk with that subtle, more subtle base on it, and it was a nice flavour. It was an enjoyable flavour for me. We then moved on to the tobacco.
That's the one that I've got on my dripper here.
Yeah, so the tobacco. You're always kind of like, oh, tobacco. Am I going to like this? The description of it says mild sweet tobacco. So it's sweet tobacco. So instantly I'm thinking, all right, I could get on with this with a hint of honey. And it works really, really well. It is a tobacco flavour. So you are getting a tobacco, but we're not talking a very, very heavy tobacco. The tobacco is there. Subtle honey is there. Sweetness is there. And actually it was an enjoyable flavour to vape without thinking,
surprisingly, yes,
tobacco.
Because myself and you, John, I don't know, we hated tobacco flavors. But if you went back 4 months ago, I don't think either one of us would have been given a bottle and we'd have gone,
Yeah.
"Oh, I like that."
Yeah, it was always kind of it's there to mimic a cigarette almost, and
Going back to when you
that,
were first getting off
that
them.
is so far from it. It is just a yes, the tobacco is there, but as I say, with the sweetness and with that undertone of honey, it is just generally a nice flavour, but it is reminiscent of tobacco. So that was another success. And then that was followed by Mr. Fritter, which is quite an extravagant one. It's an indulgence of warm fritter featuring the perfect balance of apple and cinnamon, infused with the own special blend of other flavours.
Yeah, and banana was what a few people said they were getting from it. Now, myself, I didn't get banana. I barely got the apple. I was basically just getting the fritter, sort of the deep fried sort of vibe myself. Not really a fan of fritters either. So apologies on that one, Mr. Cuttwood. But yeah, it definitely came through as a fritter. I would say the apple was in there, but not enough. I think it would need more fruit in there for myself.
Yeah. Well, I was just having a look at the box there, because one thing that you'll find with these flavors is that they are complex flavors, and that one there is no different. I mean, you've got glycerin, propylene glycol, water, vanillin, ethanol, benzylene alcohol, nicotine, ethylene, vanillin, ethyl 2-methyl butyrate, cinnamon oleosin, and cinnamomum cassia extract. So you've got a lot going on in there.
You've got a German bottle there then.
Oh, how about?
Yeah, because that last thing was cinnamon pod extract.
Well, there you go. I found the apple to be, again, yeah, a bit subdued. Personally, I would have liked a little bit more of it, but it was there with the cinnamon. And as you say, there was the other flavors that.
The other.
Again, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I think that was one of the high scorers for me. I think I had that one up at about a 7.5 for the Mr. Fritter. I certainly enjoyed it more than Jake was enjoying it.
Yeah, I think I was a full point, 6.5 behind you. But lastly, John.
Yes, lastly, we moved on to the Boss Reserve.
Which I did say the 50 mils are $19.99 on Cuttwood.com. But the distinctive range, we only have the Boss Reserve in that range, and these sell at $21.99. Now,
that
I think
doesn't surprise me.
They've made a more premium range of them, and yeah, I can't fault that one, John. I'll let you lead the way on this one.
I read the description, and straight away I was thinking, I'm going to enjoy this. It was golden honey graham with roasted nut clusters, drenched in a creamy milk, layered with sliced bananas. So straight away you can see and you can expect that flavour to be at the premium point, because if it's hitting all those flavours, there's a lot going on in that flavour. And the lovely roasted nut was there, with that hint of the cereal about it. The creamy milk was consistent throughout, and the banana was not a poignant banana, but it was there, and it was part of the whole experience of it. And yeah, it was a real pleasant surprise for me. For some reason, I had Boss Reserve down as a tobacco in my head before, without.
Yeah,
reading...
I was the same. I thought Boss Reserve, that'd be like a latte.
But yeah, couldn't have been more wrong. And yeah, delicious flavour, really good, sweet, nutty, creamy, with that element of fruit in it as well. So.
Show on camera. I had a little bit of leakage on mine, as unluckily I got the tobacco trail without a drip tip in the bottle. And yeah, we don't normally say these sort of things in the after show recordings, but I just thought it was a key to say that maybe that is why I didn't like it as much, because maybe some of the cardboard got in there, or maybe something happened.
And it would certainly been aired as well, wouldn't it? It would have had a lot more. You wouldn't normally leave a bottle open, and for it to not affect the flavour over time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but, I thought I'd mention that because it may have affected the flavour.
In a nutshell, for me, the Cuttwood brand is all about their base. It's what separates them from other brands. It's what makes them different. At the same time, they've got incredibly complex flavors, a lot going on throughout the flavors. They do have something for everyone. You've got your fruits there, you've got your cereals there, you've got your you've got your cake-esque flavors in the ones that we tried. And yeah, so it was I couldn't said yesterday that I couldn't vape all day on any of the flavors, but now I've got it into the tank. I could quite easily vape on the sugar drizzle, absolutely not a problem. And that suggests to me then, and that the other flavors that I enjoyed, so the Mega Melons, the Mr. Fritter, the Boss Reserve, the Unicorn Milk, would probably actually be a lot more, as I say, would have subdued that base a little bit on the sub-ohm tank. But definitely it's something that we would certainly recommend for you to try and see, because you may find actually that base is absolutely superb when it comes to your palate. I just didn't particularly get on with it from the off, and then I was kind of chasing to kind of get back on top of it as the review went on. Overall, I would have said yesterday that, well, I did say yesterday, well, when we did the live review, and that they were a 6 out of 10. But I would say that moving them up to a 7 on the basis of what I've experienced in the tank as opposed to on the dripper, which is unusual because you would normally prefer it the other way around. You'd normally get the best out of them from the RDA, but I just find...
I think it's just because they were 50-50s, and, you know, some juice is just better in a sub-ohm. But yeah, John has now upped his rating to the same as what mine was yesterday. Now that we've both tried them in a sub-ohm, I would increase my rating to, on the full range, I would have to go through the tobacco again and the reimagined range again in sub-ohm. Has not done that. So we may do a review, maybe later down the line.
Review.
I've jumped to a 7.5 now, maybe a soft 8.
Yeah. But definitely there was you've got different ranges within the whole brand there, and they are noticeably different. As I say, the Reimagine was probably the worst of the bunch for what we found. But then you had Gold Range, which really sung, as did the classic flavors that we got as well. So definitely one to try. Certainly would be a brand. Obviously, they've been around for as long as they have, because the flavors are there. Maybe your thing. So I think that rounds up and summarizes the live review that we did on the Cuttwood flavors.
Yes. Well, I think we'll call it a day there then, Mr.
We
John.
we'll wind it up. We'll say thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy it, please do give us the old thumbs up, and make sure you have subscribed to the channel. We will be doing more and more of the reviews as time goes by. It makes it a lot easier for you guys just to get the nutshell view of what we do when we do the whole 2-hour live program and cover the full range and full flavors individually, and this is just the condensed version of that. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, guys, I have been John Vapes.
I have been Jake Vapes.
Take care.